Molly Ryder, top science in the public middle school, drove her to quit and write for the adult, sex-positive blog and porn site for women.
What? This is my sister.
Actually, Molly's known as a street angel and a house devil. And she's conquering fears one embarrassing story at a time. Please welcome Molly Ryder.
Hi. All right. So it is 2011, and I am coaching at a week-long technology conference in Las Vegas. And there is a gorgeous man sitting in the front row. And I am a sucker for the cliche, tall, dark, and handsome, and he checks every box. And we chat in between sessions, so I know that he's also European, and he has a beautiful German accent. And every time that I get up on stage to help coach at this session, all I have are eyes for him, and it doesn't matter that there are hundreds of other people in the room. It's just he and I. And so this rotation builds all week, and he sits in the middle front row every day. And I start telling myself all these stories about how he's sitting there because of course he wants to flirt with me. But then also because he's really excited about life, and he's a go-getter, and he's all in. Either that, or he's a total dork, and he's full on embracing it. Doesn't matter, I'm all in. So we flirt all week, but I'm a coach and he's a participant, and so it's not allowed, and I don't want to lose my job. And so we just let the tension mount until the conference ends. And we find ourselves in Las Vegas at our hotel, and we're all out at the bars. And I'm feeling confident or buzzed. And we find ourselves at the dance floor, and he spots me, and he takes my hand, and we start dancing, as only you do at a Vegas nightclub. So pretty soon we're making out, and making out pretty hardcore. But he's got a room with a bunch of roommates, and I have a room with another coach. And she is this amazing, 50-year-old woman, but she's also married from Utah, and just me bringing a guy back to the room is not a good idea. So we quickly realize that our romantic tryst is coming to an end. And he's flying back to Europe the next day, and I'm living on the East Coast at the time, so I'm flying away too. And we joke with each other, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But of course, the conference had upsells, and so part of the upsell is ongoing technology support, and they dropped me into one of the Facebook groups to help coach as ongoing support. And lo and behold, my hot German man is in this Facebook group. And he finds me, and he starts private messaging me, and I learn that not only is he a beautiful, great kisser, but he's also a great writer. He starts writing me these really long private messages, and he's telling me all about how he broke up with his girlfriend a couple years ago, and he's been really closed off with her since, and meeting me at this conference, he just felt himself opening up, and he feels so comfortable talking to me, and my heart is melting, and I'm starting to fall for this guy, and so I start to tell him all about my life goals and what I'm hoping to do, and he's writing back and making notes about each thing that I say. Nothing that I tell him goes unnoticed, and I just start to feel so seen. And so quickly, our Facebook private messages turn into Skype dates, because this is 2011. So we're very excited to be Skyping with each other, Skype video, and I get dressed up from here up. And I arrange my lighting so I look really good. And it works, he tells me I look good. And we're talking, and things are going well, and even though we don't say it in our Skype dates, in our Facebook messages, we start to say love you in them. And this goes on for months. And finally he says, Molly, I want to come visit you in the States. I want to come see you. Which makes total sense. I mean, all we did was make out for a night in Vegas. But inside jumping up and down. My eyes are like bugging out. I'm like, I have just manifested a cross-Atlantic booty call. But we don't call it that. We call it a vacation. And we decide to meet in the historic town of Boston to spend a week there. And so he books his tickets, and I start looking into Airbnbs, and I debate over whether I get the Airbnb with the one king-size bed or the Airbnb with the 2 queens. I go for the 1 king. I'll stay the same. And we get really excited on our Skype dates talking about this meeting, this vacation. So anyway, while we're waiting for this to happen, he has to go away to another conference. And we knew this was happening. We planned to meet up right after this conference as a part of the whole plan of the things. But this conference is in India. And what was once a 6-hour time difference, because I was on the East Coast, is now massive and not really working super well for us. And he's going to be these 10 to 12 hour long conference days, so suddenly our Skype dates are not looking good. So I'm like, okay, well, we can go back to our Facebook messages. He's a writer, right? Wrong. So he's there, and at first things are good, but then the messages start to get shorter and less frequent. But I'm trying to be the supportive girlfriend, like he's, trying to take full-on advantage. I remember he sits in the front middle row, like he's a total dork about these things, right? That's what I'm telling myself. And the week goes by, and at the end he says, Molly, I purchased the VIP upgrade package here, which includes the opportunity to stay for a few extra days and work one-on-one with the coaches. And this was something that this company had done before, so I wasn't too alarmed, but I, was not happy. And trying not to be the needy, like from afar girlfriend of only 3 to 4 months, I was like, oh, go for it, all good, right? But now I don't hear from him at all. The entire few days go by, and I get nothing. And so alarm bells are going off everywhere. But I just keep trying to convince myself that he's bought his tickets to Boston. I have that itinerary. We've got our Airbnb. Like, this is happening. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. So about 4 days before he's supposed to arrive in Boston, I get a private Facebook message. And it says, hey Molly, hi. He says, this is probably the worst email that I will ever have to write. And I just want to correct him and say this is a Facebook message. And then he goes on to say that he met someone at the conference, and that he feels the need to be honest. And I'm like, oh, now you feel the need to be honest. That he didn't actually buy a VIP upgrade, but that he and this girl spent the week together. And that, worse, that he feels like he was really able to connect with her because of how open he had become in connecting with me. Not my words. And then he goes on to tell me that, the hits keep coming, that she's also American, that she's also from the East Coast, gotta type, and that now, instead of using the tickets to come see me in Boston, he wants to use them to see her. And because it's only 4 days before we're supposed to go, it's too late to cancel our Airbnb. So he's willing to take them off me. Yes. And he signs this message by telling me that he's just landed back in Europe and it's a shocking 8 degrees Celsius and he's wishing for the warmer weather. I want to tell him what's shocking. My jaw has dropped. I am flabbergasted. But I am also a down-to-earth, hardened New Englander. And so there's no fucking way in hell that I'm losing any money to this asshole. Damn Skippy, I'm getting on the phone and talking to the Airbnb host and changing our credit card information. So I get on the phone to her, and she's curious. She's like, why is this happening? So I tell her the whole story. And she, applauds and ahs in all the right places. And she goes, Molly, don't you worry. We've got you covered. She goes, my husband has 2 twin-size beds in the basement. We are taking that king out and putting those twins in. I am giving you the biggest, greatest review ever. And I learned in that moment that what happens in Vegas should always stay in Vegas, and that Airbnb has my heart.
Yes. I just want to start a chant. You're just going to follow after me. I'm going to go, that guy sucks. And then you're going to shout back, that guy sucks. That guy sucks.
That guy sucks!
He did. And he slept with a twin. I was going to imagine that's great. All right. Hey guys, it's a surprise.